Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. I hope all is well and you're enjoying the start of your week back to work. If you're like me over here in the UK after the bank holiday yesterday, we are now officially in the off season, aren't we? Football is done and dusted for a while anyway. The playoffs finishing yesterday over the weekend here in England. Dramatic stuff at Wembley as usual. And now we are, as I said, off season, silly season, whatever it is you want to call it. Only about 6 weeks till Arsenal return for pre-season training. Got the tour of the US to come, of course, as preparations begin in earnest for what should be a really fun season next season, the return of the Champions League. Fair bit to talk about in today's video. We've got Declan Rice stuff to talk about, some quotes from him, rumours of potential Bayern Munich bid as well. Edu's been speaking a little bit. Martin Odegaard is in the news. So we'll talk about all of those sort of things. I'll give my views on what has been said and what's being said. And let's get stuck into it, shall we? Declan Rice, first of all. I don't think this is going to be the last time I talk about Declan Rice in a video this summer. Going to be the talk of the summer. The big transfer over here. Where's he going to go? Who is going to get him? We're hearing at the moment lots of stuff over here of Bayern Munich being very much interested. Thomas Tuchel speaking to Declan Rice on the phone. There's been talk of a £95 million bid potentially being made. Going to have to deal with an awful lot of that this summer. Arsenal, as I've reported plenty of times, very, very much want to sign Declan Rice. They've put a lot of work into it already, but that only goes so far. Wanting a player and actually getting him are two very, very different things. And we've seen with Arsenal in recent times, getting their priority target has not been the easiest thing. They've missed out on plenty of them before. Will they miss out on Declan Rice? We'll have to wait and see. But he's been speaking about it, and he's very much saying at the moment, look, he's not thinking about transfers. He's got a big, big game, and he does. He's got the European matches to come. You know, of course, we talk about being in the off-season, but there are still the European finals to come. We've got the Champions League final coming up, the Europa League final coming up, and the Conference League final coming up, and West Ham are in that Conference League final against Fiorentina. It's a huge match for them. Saw how excited the club was to get through that semi-final against AZ Alkmaar, get themselves into the final against Fiorentina. You know, for Declan Rice in what's probably going to be his last game for the club, the opportunity to lift a European trophy is, you know, a huge thing for him. And it's no surprise that he has basically shut down any sort of transfers right now, and he just wants to concentrate on that match. He says, I've really not focused on any of that speculation, to be honest. My main focus this season from the World Cup onwards has been getting us out of the relegation battle and, of course, having one eye on winning this trophy. Everything else is just noise and speculation. Obviously, I can't help that. It comes with playing, but my main focus is playing for West Ham and winning this final. My heart's set on that, doing it for the club, my family, for the fans, and that's my only focus. I want to make them all very happy. My focus is on doing that, and that's, you know, you'd absolutely expect that to be the priority for Declan Rice. First and foremost, he's a thoroughly impressive professional, and so you know, anything but that sort of mindset I'd be very, very surprised at. And you know, he's a West Ham lad. He's this means an awful lot to him. Yes, he wants to go and play Champions League football. He knows that the time is right to move on in his career and take that next step. But for now, he's still very much a West Ham, and he wants to win this trophy for them, for that club, for himself and for his family, as he said. But he is going to have to deal with speculation because it's going to be around him all the time. It's been around him for months leading up to the transfer window, and it's only going to increase now. We've seen that. He's all over the back papers today in terms of Bayern Munich coming in for him. You know, Arsenal are going to have to accept that there's going to be rival interest, and that's why it's going to be so difficult. I've talked at length about how huge a signing I think this would be for Arsenal, and it's not just in terms of signing Declan Rice a player, but I think it's in terms of winning a transfer battle for a player that in demand that so many top clubs want. If Arsenal can go in there and actually win the race for him, I think it will say an awful lot. It will do an awful lot for this, you know, send a message out across Europe in terms of how top players view Arsenal now, and the fact that they can compete and sign those players even if other top clubs are in for him. So I think it'll be a really huge thing for the club. But as I said, I don't think anything's going to, you know, I can't see, obviously the rumours around Bayern have come out now, but I can't see Arsenal doing anything until after this Conference League final is out of the way. I just think from a business point of view, when you're trying to stay on side with West Ham, the last thing you want to do is put in a bid right before the final, you know, potentially disrupt things, disrupt their preparations, sort of throw Declan Rice's head off a little bit from what he should be focusing on. I'd be very, very surprised from a business point of view that if they would do that, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a funny world in the transfer business, isn't it? And that's yeah, it's going to be one certainly to keep an eye on, and I will be keeping an eye on it. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and let me know what you guys think about what he's had to say, about what you think about the potential signing of him, whether Arsenal should do it. You know, for West Ham, this is exactly what they want in a way, because they want to drive the price up as much as possible. They want everyone to be in for Declan Rice. They want everyone to be putting in rival bids, and so they can just basically sit back and watch the numbers go up and up and up and up. If it was just Arsenal involved, then you know they don't have that strong a bargaining position. But when you've got Bayern Munich putting bids on the table, Chelsea potentially coming in, you know, Manchester United, Newcastle, all those sort of clubs, it's just going to drive that price up even more. So for West Ham, this is exactly what they want. But as I said, probably not until after the Conference League final has taken place. Yeah, so Edu's been speaking, given a couple of interviews, gave one to ESPN Brazil. I saw Sky Sports have put something out today from him. I think it was an event yesterday. It was a football tournament. And there was, I think, a couple of people got some interviews with him down there. He was just talking in that one about how excited he was for next season. But the one with ESPN Brazil I thought was quite interesting, talking about Arsenal's summer plans and, you know, how they are going to approach the summer transfer window and what is important to them during the summer transfer window. And he said it's identifying very well where we can improve. If they are individual isolated positions or if they are units, if they are final third or if they are midfield on the defensive part. The diagnosis we already have, because we already have a very clear style of play under Arteta. Today you see Arsenal playing and you identify with it. You know this is Arsenal's style. So now it's time to understand where we can boost the units so that the team can improve and go to another level in terms of performance. And I think there is another level. We have one more level. With me and Arteta talking, we believe that we have a level to improve in terms of performance. And now we need to make a good transfer window, understand the need to find the right athlete, the characteristics, the mentality of the athlete that we want to once again raise the level of our squad. And he's right, Arsenal can go up a level. Look, it's been fantastic this season. The levels increased hugely, but it's not enough. If you're going to win the Premier League title, if you're going to beat this Manchester City team, we've seen this season that this isn't enough. Good's not enough. Excellent is all you can be if you're going to beat Manchester City. Faultless, almost, is all you can do, is all you can be if you're going to beat Manchester City. Arsenal weren't faultless this season, and that's why they paid the price. You know, when they were pretty much near on perfect, which they were for the first half of the season, they led, they were top. But as soon as the level dipped a little bit, bang, Manchester City were there to overhaul them. And that's what, you know, if Arsenal are going to get their hands on a Premier League trophy over the next couple of years, that's where they're going to have to improve. And that's the level they need to go to. So, you know, Edu's absolutely spot on. He's right. I think he's right in terms of what Arsenal do in this window. It's not just a case of just going out, getting sort of 5-6 players in. I think now, because the core of the starting 11 is there, we know it. It's about bringing in players who are going to come in and sort of immediately improve things in terms of, you know, who plays where, who plays with who. It's got to be a carefully mapped out plan, and it will be a carefully mapped out plan because we've seen that's how Arsenal operate in the transfer window. Whatever you think of some of the signings that have been made, and you're always going to be a little bit hit and miss with signings. They're not all going to work. It never does. It's impossible for that to happen in football. Some signings aren't going to work. But on the whole, in the last couple of years, since Arteta and Edu have, you know, just taken full control of this transfer policy, so once we've got the agents out of the way, who were certainly, you know, Arsenal were not benefiting for having the influence of agents involved in their transfer strategy. Since that's finished and Arteta and Edu have just come together and sort of carefully mapped things out, there's been far more hits than misses, and Arsenal have improved because of it. And this summer's going to be another one where they're going to have to get more hits than misses if they are going to sort of go up to the level that they need to be, not just to compete with Manchester City, but to compete in the Champions League as well, which of course Arsenal will be doing for the first time since 2017. Just saying that makes me smile. I cannot wait to hear that Champions League music at the Emirates next season. It is going to be very, very special indeed. Okay, one player, and this is when I talked at the start of this video, I mentioned silly season, and it is silly season, and here's the first big one. Martin Odegaard being linked with Paris Saint-Germain. Now, I'm probably going to I'll say this, and then it'll end up moving, and it'll be played over and over again, clipped up over and over again, and shown over and over again. But I cannot see any way that Martin Odegaard goes to Paris Saint-Germain or anywhere this summer. I just cannot see it. And you're always, it pains you to say that because you know anything can happen in football and you can end up looking very, very stupid. But you got Arsenal's captain here who is so into the project, who's so intertwined with the manager and is just, you know, connected with the fans, who's had this fantastic season. It just would not happen. Arsenal wouldn't entertain it unless someone came in with some ridiculous offer, you know, the world record transfer. But why would you even consider selling Martin Odegaard in the summer when you're going to basically lose Granit Xhaka? You're going to have to improve that area of the midfield, you know, strengthen that, bring in another player. We don't know what's going on with Thomas Partey at the moment. You know, there's so many other areas. The last thing you want to do is suddenly lose your captain. So, and agree to lose your captain who you've got signed on a long-term contract, who you hopefully are going to get signed to a new long-term contract fairly soon. It just makes absolutely no sense. I just cannot see it. It would be stunned. Arsenal back in the Champions League. He's got Champions League football to look forward to. He'll be leading the team in the Champions League in a very, very settled club who are on a upward trajectory. Why would you go to Paris Saint-Germain? I just can't see it. It's a circus of a club who, yes, they will win the French League because they always win the French League. Well, they don't always win the French League, but they haven't won the Champions League yet. They haven't really got close. They had one final to win in the Champions League yet. Their star player, you would be stunned if they're for much longer in terms of Kylian Mbappe. Lionel Messi's obviously going to go. I can't see it. I'd be absolutely stunned. And like I said, I'm probably going to end up eating humble pie and I'll look very, very stupid when something ends up happening. But I think this is just what I mean by silly season. You're going to get these stories, this speculation, and you just got to kind of pick through the pieces and just think to yourself, use a little bit of common sense and think, what's the sensible thing to do here? Worry about something like that, or just think, you know what, that's just not going to happen. And I can't see it's going to happen. If you're going to ask me right now what's the most likely thing to happen with Martin Odegaard this summer, with it transfer or a new contract, I would absolutely sit here right now and say new contract. I can't see it. But again, that's just a hunch. I don't know if he's going to sign a new contract this summer. That's not me saying he will by any means. But I'd just say if you're weighing up the possibility of the two things happening, I would certainly put far greater weight behind a potential new contract than I would behind a potential summer exit for Arsenal's captain, the key integral player of this team, who's just come off the back of a brilliant season, who Mikel Arteta absolutely trusts implicitly and wants to stay. I mean, I've probably already spent far too much time even talking about this because I just can't see it happening. So, yeah, not one for me. So I wouldn't be too overly concerned about it. And like I said, you're just going to have to deal with these sort of stories when they come out in the summer. And who, you know, why PSG, you absolutely would be interested in Martin Odegaard. Of course you would. He's brilliant. Every club should be interested in Martin Odegaard, but he's Arsenal's captain. And I cannot see there's any chance that they would even entertain the prospects of him going anywhere. They want to build a team around Martin Odegaard. He's one of the players they want to build a team around, not letting people go. And I think what we've seen with Arsenal now, that maybe we didn't in the last 10, 15 years, is that they can keep their best players. They can get them signed onto long-term contracts. You know, they don't have to go elsewhere now to try and sort of fulfil their ambitions, because they can see that the project at Arsenal is a good one, and it's one that's on an upward trajectory, and they've got Champions League football to come as well now. So yeah, I'm not worried, put it that way. But we'll see what happens elsewhere. Okay, that's about it from me. Thank you once again, actually, for all the nice messages to yesterday's video, me telling you what was going on in terms of my future plans with leaving goal and sort of branching out on my own for a bit. Very nice comments from you, and I did reply to a lot of them. I couldn't get around to applying to all replies to all of them, but I did appreciate them. So thank you very much from that. I will hopefully be back to do a video tomorrow. I might not be able to fit it in though, because I'm quite busy. I'm playing at the Emirates tomorrow. Did it last year, scored a hat-trick. I might have told you that before. I did definitely tell you that before, but I'm back there tomorrow for a media tournament, and yeah, I don't care what happens now. I already scored a hat-trick there last season, so it doesn't matter. And I'm so unfit this year. I'm going to be absolutely awful. I'm sure I'm going to be awful. My knee's probably going to give way after about 5 minutes, but got to do it. Hopefully bag another couple of goals and get to celebrate on the Emirates pitch once again. So if I don't get to do a video tomorrow, then apologies for that. Oh no, I just apologised. I've always said I'm going to stop apologising on my videos because you always pick me up on it. But yeah, if I don't get to do one tomorrow, then certainly do one the following day after that. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.